Hey everyone, John here with Pro Age Paintball. We're going to give you a quick cover, a quick shopping guideline for whenever you're buying an air tank, especially if you're buying it for yourself or you're new to paintball or you're buying it for a gift for somebody. We do offer returns here at Pro Age Paintball, so for Christmas or a birthday or something like that, if you do get a product and you're not sure what you're buying and for some reason it's not the right one or they already have the same, whatever the case is, as long as it's in brand new condition, just send it back to us or give us a call, email, or stop back by our store and we'll work something out with you. That's not a problem at all. As long as it's brand new, there's no fee or penalty, anything like that. So with that said, just give you a quick rundown. When you're looking for paintball air tanks, you have CO2 air tanks, which is a different type of gas, the liquid that turns into a gas, and you have compressed air, high pressure air, or some people call it nitrogen, but it is just high pressure air. What that means is it's just compressed air, like you would for your garage or your anything like that. So give you a quick rundown. A few things to look for when you're shopping. If you came to us and say, hey, what air tank do we want, or what air tank should I get for my son? Let's say he's a smaller guy or your daughter, and he's a smaller person, let's say shorter person, maybe not as big, so lightweight and smaller. As you can tell, the tanks do have a difference in height or length, so when you screw them into your paintball gun, if a tank is longer, it's going to make the gun harder to hold. So just to start with the biggest air tank we offer, this is a 20-ounce CO2 tank. This is the Tippmann brand. Pretty much all CO2 tanks are the same. Some do offer better warranties and they're better quality. So I am about 5'11", almost 6 feet, and something like this, if I were going to try to play with this, if you notice how long this setup is, it's not very comfortable for me. This is not too bad, but as tall as I am, this air tank would be very, very heavy to hold on to, and for a smaller player, they're going to feel like this. They're going to feel very uncomfortable when they're holding it. Plus, CO2 does get heavier as you fill it up, and so a 20-ounce or 24-ounce CO2 tank would be pretty heavy as you're playing. So if you have a smaller player, I wouldn't recommend a 24-ounce. The next size down would be a 20-ounce, and this is our most popular size bottle, mainly because it's mid-range as far as height goes, or for length of it and weight. Plus, you're going to get about 1,000 shots out of something like this, 1,000 to 1,200, where on the 24-ounce you can get closer to 1,400-1,500. So if you are playing like in your own backyard and you need a lot of air, a lot of shots because you don't have a place to fill them up easily, then a 24-ounce might be what you have to go with. But a 20-ounce is the most popular bottle, like I was saying. And I'm going to screw this on here, and you can see the difference in the length of my arms here. So this is my arms more natural, it's closer, it's not as long, and so that way it sits more comfortable. So this, for most adults, a 20-ounce CO2 tank, if you're looking for a gift idea, if you're buying it for somebody else, a 20-ounce CO2 tank is going to be probably the most popular size that we would recommend to go with. Again, if you are shopping around and this is for you, feel free to stop by our store. We'll let you try, bring your gun in even. We'll put each air tank on your gun. We'll find out the length and kind of see, that way you can feel what I'm talking about for yourself. The main difference here between a 12 and a 24-ounce, or sorry, a 12 and a 20-ounce, the height is about the same, so that doesn't play much of a role, but the weight now. So if you're playing with if you have a younger player or a smaller player, your wife, girlfriend, or a younger child or anything like that is much smaller, then a smaller air tank that's shorter and weighs less may be what you need to do. Most paintball fields, especially here in Houston, they give you free air when you go play, except for one or two. So you don't have to have a giant air tank here to get 1,500 shots. When you can play one or two games out of this is going to give you closer to 600 to, let's say, 800 shots roughly on it. You can play one or two games of that, and you go back and get it refilled every single time. So you don't need to buy a giant bottle just to make sure you have enough shots. A 12-ounce bottle is going to be much lighter than your 20-ounce, especially, like I said, CO2 does get heavier, and I'll show you this one here. So if you have a younger player, a 20 or a 12-ounce bottle is the most popular that we'd sell. It is much lighter, and also it is shorter, so my arms are closer together. What's nice too, some of the younger players can actually stick it underneath their arm, and because the diameter isn't as thick as a 20-ounce, it's a little easier for them to handle. So again, if you're looking for a paintball gun package, like if you watched our other video on best paintball gun under $100, this would probably be the best air tank to start with. If it's for a newer player that might be younger or smaller or not be able to handle the weight as much. So then you get the question, Well, what's the difference between the compressed air? Should I go with compressed air? I hear CO2 is dirty, or your paintball field doesn't refill CO2, which that's kind of becoming a thing in Houston and some other fields across the country, is some people don't fill CO2, whereas a compressor, they can fill them up themselves with the compressor. With the compressor, they can fill it up for themselves at their park, so it costs them less, more efficient, and easier to fill up. If that's the case, then of course, here are the two sizes for your compressed air tank. So Ninja brand is the leading as far as making a ton of different sizes available for compressed air tanks. And they make, of course, a 35 cubic inch and a 48 cubic inch. So these work a little different than your CO2 bottles. Your CO2 is based on the volume or the weight of CO2 you're actually putting inside of it. Whereas compressed air is based on pressure. So this is a 35 cubic inch bottle, this is a 48 cubic inch bottle, and then we can force in there 3,000 psi. The only difference between these bottles is saying this is like a 20-ounce Coke can and this is a liter Coke can or Coke bottle. They hold the exact same type of air, exact same pressure of air, but it's the volume that they can hold more. So if you notice, if you've looked around at all, Ninja makes, or all other paintball companies make a much larger bottle as well. They also make what's called 4,500 psi bottles, which means it's maybe 48. The size may be the same, but it can cram more in there, so you're going to get more shots. Basically, the bigger the numbers, the more shots. But for a newer player, if you're looking at getting compressed air, a 48 cubic inch, this one here is probably the most popular size. Actually, guarantee it's the most popular size. And if you notice, it's almost identical to a 20 ounce. So this is a very good length to go with. For most of your adults, even your teenage players, if they can handle a little bit of weight, this bottle is very similar in weight to the CO2 bottle once it gets filled up. These bottles are a little bit heavier just naturally, but they don't get much heavier at all when you put air in them. Of course, they add a little bit of weight, very, very minute, but they don't add as much weight when you put CO2 in a CO2 bottle. It doesn't happen on this one. So 48 cubic inch, 3,000 psi. These run anywhere from $40 to $60 depending on your brand. So main reason why people go this route, everybody asks, why do I need to go with that, is the paintball gun electronic. If it takes a battery, it is recommended to go compressed air. Typically, there are multiple technical reasons behind it, but it is better for the gun. It's going to perform better. Electronic guns shoot faster. This is just better air overall. And then also, again, if your paintball field doesn't fill CO2, then you have to go compressed air. But also, compressed air is better overall for the guns, especially the electronic guns that have electronic components. You don't want the liquid CO2 freezing up or getting there or damaging anything inside of the gun, any of the O-rings freezing up. So, on a side note, if you think you're going to continue playing, or if you think the player you're buying for is going to continue playing, you see them in the next year or two continuing playing, instead of spending the $20 to $30 on a CO2 canister or air tank just in 6 months for them to upgrade to the compressed air, save yourself the money in the long run and go ahead and go with the compressed air bottle. A compressed air bottle will still work on pretty much every paintball gun out there. You don't have to have CO2 for certain guns and compressed air. It doesn't work where, let me just say that again, pretty much compressed air will work on any gun where CO2 will not. So again, skip the 30 bucks on your CO2 bottle, go with the compressed air bottle, and this will work pretty much on every gun out there. And they're not going to have to upgrade in the near future. Even for a $1,000 paintball gun, this $40 or $60 bottle will still work on that gun no matter what, because it still holds compressed air. So the quality of air is perfectly fine. It's just not going to be as nice as a bottle as you'll see on people using on like the $500 or $1,000 paintball guns. So just like we have the 20 ounce and the 12 ounce for weight differences and size, Ninja makes a 35 cubic inch bottle. This is really nice because it is shorter. So very similar to the 12 ounce. The 35 is great for during Christmas, during holidays and stuff like that when people are buying gifts. This is our favorite bottle because it is so short. So for smaller players that are looking for something small and compact, not as much weight as that bottle, and also their arms are shorter. If you notice, my arms, I can get so small here and tuck it in. So if I'm taller, I go with a smaller one. If I'm a little bit shorter, I can go with a smaller bottle. Of course, you're not going to get as many shots on the 35 cubic inch bottle or a smaller bottle made by other companies. This is going to give you about, let's say, 400 to 600 shots. And if you ask like kind of how much is that? Each paintball gun has a hopper on top of it that holds paintballs. And each hopper holds about 200 paintballs. So on this one, you'll get about 2 hoppers fulls So for most players, that'll be 1 to 2 games, where the 48 3000 bottle, the larger one, will be closer to 2 to 3 games, depending on the player. If they shoot a lot more paint, they're able to shoot this one. Again, this will be 800 to 1,000 shots roughly. Everything I've said here for shots, that really depends on the type of gun you're using and how much, of course, they fill up your air tank. So just a quick recap. You have your CO2, which is a liquid that turns into a gas. It does get heavier as you fill it up. They make larger bottles, of course, that will give you more shots out of it, but for smaller players, the 24 ounce is probably not what you want to go with. The 20 ounce is the most popular bottle. These run for between $20 and $30. Of course, about a $5 increment between each one of them. We do sell ours filled up already when you come by the store. So 20 ounce most popular, 12 ounce is great for beginner players looking to get a beginner package to get started for the least amount of money. Then on the compressed air side here, we have the 48 3000 Ninja bottle here. These run about $60, and similar other brands will be between $40 and $60. And this is 48 cubic inches, so this is the most popular size. The 35 cubic inch runs about the same price, about $50 to $60, and but will only give you 400 shots, 600 shots roughly on this, but this is great for smaller players. So I know that's a lot to take in, but if you guys have any questions, any comments at all, feel free to give us a call. Everybody here at Pro Edge Paintball, we're very experienced with all the types of air, depending on the paintball gun that maybe your son has or your player has or the person you're buying the gift for. If you already know a little bit of information about the equipment, that helps us a lot, so that way we can point in the right direction. Also, how tall are they? You know, are they smaller? Are they bigger? We can help make all those buying decisions based on just a little bit of information from the years of us helping customers in the store and whatnot. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call, comment below. We appreciate everybody that shared our video and liked it. Please go out there and like it, share it on Facebook, anything like that. Otherwise, if you have any questions, reach out to us online, social media, or comment below. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching.